Bala is an advocate for our shared humanity driven by optimism and curiosity. Leading with humility, he empowers others to reach their best selves. From a humble background, he has turned self doubt into growth and sought transformative mentorship. Fueled by purpose, he is dedicated to creating equity, especially in STEM fields. And as we prepare to delve into our conversation on the topic at hand, organizational leadership and empowering diversity, here's an exciting twist. Let us tickle Bala's brain first. So, Bala, get ready for a rapid fire round of random words. I'll mention a few, and I would love to hear the first thing that comes to your mind in response without thinking much. If you're ready, let's dive in.
Hello, yeah, I am ready. Thank you.
Here comes the first word: curiosity.
Baby.
Invention.
Radio.
Future.
Female.
Book.
This is a tough one. Okay. GEB, Godel, Escher and Bach, a Douglas Hofstadter.
And movie.
Forrest Gump.
Yeah, even I love that movie. One of my guests have recommended and I immediately watched it. I've become a big fan of it. Next is technology.
Smartphones.
Creativity.
Mother.
Universe.
Expanding.
Aliens.
They exist.
And the last one is diversity.
Strength.
Awesome. So thank you so much for participating in the first rapid fire round. So sportively, Bala. There is one more waiting towards the end of the episode. So stay tuned. And folks, welcome to the Guiding Voice podcast series where we embark on transformative conversations for a better future. I'm your host, Naveen Samala, dedicated to making the world a better place through valuable discussions that add value not only to your life but also to your career. And thank you so much for tuning in. Bala, hearty welcome to TGV, the Guiding Voice, and thank you so much for being part of our journey in shaping the lives and careers of millions across the globe, and excited to have this conversation today. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing great. Thanks, Naveen. Thank you for hosting me. It's been an honor. I've been listening to your podcast for a while now. It's very, very thought-provoking, and I couldn't believe that I'm here sitting with you and talking with you. Thank you for having me. I am doing great today.
Awesome. So pleasure to get started, and let's begin with your success mantra. So please share with us the top 3 things that have attributed to your success so far.
Top 3, I will always start with family first. Like that is like, it's more like the pot that grew the little plant, right, into a tree or however big forest it is. So family, the first one, and the support they provided. Then followed by mentors in form of teachers, in form of peers, or even extended group of people who you learn a lot every day from. So mentors are the second one. And the third one, I would say, is the belief that everyone can do things. Like that was the turning point for me. The first one you have by birth. The second one you have by circumstance. The third one, I felt that was the unlocking factor for me and for everyone I work with these days. It's the belief that you can and everyone can is a turning point to create great things in life.
Yeah, such a powerful one. In fact, I also strongly believe in that. And through the Guiding Voice, one of our purpose is to make sure that unsung heroes come and share their stories so that everybody can think that they can also do whatever people like you are doing. That's the whole intent. And let's move forward. So Bala, please share a personal experience where you have witnessed the positive impact of strong organizational behavior within a team or a company.
My role has evolved recently, so probably I have to go back because I want to share something which I experienced firsthand. And it was also a life-changing experience for me. So this was a time where I was in India back in 2008 times. Like things were a little bit tough, recession times, and I was working for a consulting company. So this is my time where I also started transitioning into a lead from being an individual. So we were put on a banking project. So it's kind of unique because the infrastructure back in the day, VPN and stuff, did not allow you to work from your own office due to the banking systems. So you would have to go to a bank space where they have their network and access to the data. So I was originally from Chennai and we had to go to Bangalore with like 4 of us. Like the team is 4. I was leading it, and there were three other engineers on the team. And we were sent to Bangalore, and we were given a guest house right opposite to the bank space. And we were very excited, like, oh, this is going to be great. Then we realized the reason we were given a guest house was the project was so strenuous. You have to clock in almost like 18 hours a day or 20 hours a day too. There were days where we only get few hours of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that was a great learning I had was the organizational behavior, the question you were asking, is the collaboration, the enhanced collaboration. Like we all were from very different backgrounds. Like we haven't worked with each other. We speak very different languages. We come from very different upbringing. Putting all of us together in a team towards a goal in a short timeline, like enhanced collaboration was the key. So we would go work, clock in hours, and then go to the guest house where we'd all stay together. And we learned a lot from each other. Like the way we work really became better, and I would say unlocking the real value after we learned to work with each other. The collaboration that we were able to achieve after we knew each other well, that was the key to unlock it. So how we had to share bathroom, like how you would fight for those. So you became roommates and you learn from each other. This was a short stint, just 4 months. So knowing people dynamics, understanding the diversity where people are coming from, that helped us a lot to bring in to work. And that changed our lives. I would say the enhanced collaboration that came when we learned about each other, started trusting each other, that was unlocking transformational behavior I have seen personally. And since then, I've always emphasized that as a success to any team or a company.
That's a great story. And I think you guys have seen the positivity during those kind of circumstances and made the best out of it. Now let's move and talk about another element of leadership, which is about conflict resolution, right? So what are some strategies that you have found effective in resolving conflicts or improving communication within an organization?
Got it. I think when it comes to conflict resolutions, it took a while for me to realize this. Like there are two foundational aspects. The first one is like conflict is inevitable, regardless of who you are, how good you are, or how bad you are. Conflicts are inevitable. Right? You can see this in your family, like your mom and dad. That's the first conflict you as a child would have ever witnessed, and then you having conflicts with your siblings. That's the second one, and then you realize your parent having conflict. Like same way, then it translates to teams. So conflicts are inevitable. That is the foundational fact. And the next thing I realized was conflicts, as severe or dense it might be, there's always the benefit out of it. When you come out of a conflict, you either learn and you resolve the conflict, or you learn that, okay, this is not going to work with this person, and you move on. So there is always a learning. So understanding the anatomy of conflict is the first step for me, and that is what I still work with my teams on. And the next one, when it comes to resolution, is communication. Right? It starts with communication, it ends with communication. So two things I look forward to or like kind of share is communicating the why. When you are in a conflict, communicate the why. Like, why are you doing this, or why is a certain thing in a certain way? Most often, like we don't communicate the why, we communicate the what or the how. This is how I want to do this. This is what I want to do this. We do not engage in the why. So looking at the why is the key thing, and then over sharing is the key thing. Like we do not share a lot during conflicts. We hold information, and that kind of makes people to assume things, mostly for the worst, and then it adds to the conflict. So understanding the why, communicating, and oversharing would be like a couple things we can do to resolve conflicts. And remember, conflicts are always good in terms of getting something good out of it.
Super. Yeah. If there is no conflict, I think there is something wrong, and conflicts need not always be negative or should be treated in a negative way. There is something to learn. There might be some perspective of others, and which might lead to better solutions as long as we are aligned.
Totally. I think consensus is good, but you have to arrive at consensus. If you start, then there's no diversity, and you will end up doing the same thing.
Yeah, got it. Now let's talk about the balancing technical expertise with leadership skills, right? So how have you done this to drive innovation and success within your field?
Got it. I I think there's one thing I could think of, which is asking questions, right? And then I'll talk about how it kind of transformed, right? Initially, like early in the stages, like everyone starts their career as an individual contributor, right? And then you start doing something. Even startup founders I work with today, they do something and then they create a product out of it. So asking the questions, this is mostly to learn, like to understand what is there, what is not there. This is to equip yourself. And then same again, asking questions at this point, you are like, oh, have I seen this problem before? How have I solved before? How can I solve it now? Like identifying patterns, pattern recognition, those things will help you. Like, again, the second phase of where you, from an individual, you become a leader now. So technical expertise is the same. You start asking questions and you learn to upskill yourself, and then you start identifying patterns. As you switch into leadership, you will start to notice that the time you spend with technology or anything that is more creative is going to go down. You're probably going to lead. You're probably going to share a vision, translate a vision, work with people. And then you continue to keep the curiosity. That's the balance aspect you mentioned, right? You, at this point, you are not going to keep amping up your technical skills. You are amping up your people skills. So be curious to know what's happening out there. Like for now, let's say OpenAI or whatever it is, right? Keep your curiosity alive, right? And again, finishing it with asking questions. This time, you're going to ask questions to share knowledge. You are going to ask questions to teach other people how to do this. So asking questions is the key, but how you start to learn to identify pattern, to stay curious and to teach others, that is the key for helping you find the balance between technical expertise and leadership skills.
Got it. Now let's talk about the second part, which is more about the technical leadership aspect that you briefly touched upon, right? So what will be your advice to individuals aspiring to become technical leaders in their respective industries?
Yeah. First is to understand, right, like, what is technical leadership? Because this is a very unique field where, as an engineer or as any technical field, like as you grow into a leadership role, you are still expected to have some sort of expertise or hold command over the topic. So the first thing I would say for anyone becoming a leader, regardless of technical or not, or a people leader, first is to believe that you can, like this is possible. That is the most important thing. The next thing I would recommend is find people who you can learn from. Again, this is the power of collective intelligence. You cannot know it all. You cannot solve it all. Know the people, know the experts who you can rely on, who you can tap into. And then third one, I would say, be prepared for the journey, because technical leadership is more like a journey, not a destination. It is not that like a PhD, like once you finish, you are done. It's not a college education. I mean, leadership in itself is a journey. So you are going to be learning a lot. So being with the people who are learning and being aware that this is going to be a journey is going to be a key for you to be successful as a technical leader.
Got it. Now let's talk about the core of today's conversation around the STEM. So what initiatives or programs have you been involved to encourage young women to pursue careers in STEM or other traditionally male-dominated fields?
Sure. Great question. I would say the most important thing, I mean, for audience, I believe you would all know about STEM. Just to reiterate, like STEM is like science, technology, education, and mathematics. Today, this field is also expanding. They're including art as well. It's becoming STEAM, and there's a stream which is more like it kind of keeps expanding. But let's sticking to STEM. The few things. The first step for me that opened eyes into this is volunteering in a public school. So I live in the Bay Area, and there are public schools here. Some of them are really good. Some of them are okay. They don't have enough resources, depending on which area you are from. So I started volunteering in a school, and that was my first eye-opening experience, where you go and see the talents and the resources that they have or they do not have. So that is the first one. Like volunteering in a school nearby helped me evolve this plan, and then that I translated into a mentoring platform. So I am part of 3 mentoring platforms today, where I go mentor women from various backgrounds across the world. mainly startup founders, but also some aspiring leaders, helping them understand the industry, helping them connect with people. Those are a few things which I have found something that I can bring to the table and that adds value. So being part of a mentoring platform is one. And lastly, this is something I'm very excited about, but it's not out there yet, which is I'm building a platform where every individual who is interested could get a team of coaches. Today, mentoring platforms are all one-on-one. Like you go, you have a specific skill, you go to someone, you learn that skill. And I've always been curious about how CEOs learn something. For example, Elon Musk, one day when he was driving, he realized that, oh, the traffic was so bad, so I'm going to drill a tunnel underneath and I'm going to start a company in the boring company. Same way SpaceX. Like, how does a person who's a CEO learn things? Then I started researching more and I found out that they have a team of individuals they hire. Like, these are professors, PhD holders who are really experts, industrial experts. They bring them in house and help Elon learn the things that he's interested in learning in a very short time. So I was thinking, how is it possible that only a CEO can do this? So I was wondering, how do we democratize this? So I'm building a platform now. It's not out yet. I'll definitely come back and talk about this more once the platform is live, where I am starting to bring 3 to 4 mentors for a single person with varying skills, personal skills, professional skills, technical skills. And that would be your coaching team. Imagine having a team of coaches for you. Mm-hmm. So that is a very exciting thing I'm currently building. And that is one way I want everyone to get access to the information and the resources that are available today.
Amazing, Bala. I think mentoring platforms are a great way to encourage the next generation. And at the same time, we also get an opportunity to get reverse mentored in some cases as well.
Yeah.
Right. So let's move forward. And can you share some successful examples of how you have seen these technology and STEM skills being used to address community challenges or to promote social equity?
Yeah. Totally. I would say the recent example is in terms of digital payments. And we have all seen post-COVID how the world has changed to become touchless. Right? How someone who's not having access to the system before now has the key to the entire. Like, so digital payments are really an unlocker, I would say. So the economy today we are talking about is just value-based economy. What is happening in an economy is value exchange. You have something, you sell, and there is a party who's interested in buying it, and they exchange value. It's either in form of money or in some other assets. So the value share. So digital payments have really unlocked those things. So someone recently I'm mentoring, they are having a startup in a remote village. This is in somewhere deep in Mexico, right? So they do not have good payment systems there so far pre-COVID, but COVID really accelerated it. The Mexico startup system, very similar to Indian one, which is really, I would say, thriving in terms of how do you connect the dots. So this person who is from a very remote village, he came to CDMX city to study and then got interested in the digital payments and built an app that was helping people. These are like doctors, right, who are in the city but cannot really, I would say, go travel and stuff. But then, of course, money is going to be the key factor. So what this person did in their village was they created some sort of a basic Zoom version, I would say like an extension of a Zoom, where they did this tele-doctoring thing. So like the medical field is not very regulated there. So they were able to do this using digital payments and the video conferencing tool where someone in village could quickly get into a video call with the doctor in a city. And for basic symptoms like skin rashes, they were focusing on skin rashes because their village had a specific skin rash problem. So they started that with a video call, and then it is now kind of getting expanded into various use cases there, going beyond just a skin rash situation. So taking a photo, like sending the payment, and then having a doctor look into it is really, really unlocking factor. This is where I see equity coming in play, because this is putting the power of technology in people's hand who would not have otherwise had access to such a system. So that is transformative, and this person is building on top of that, which I believe is phenomenal because it is literally life changing, literally life altering too. So the digital payment, internet, and video conferencing is one thing that they have cleverly used post pandemic to make this transformation.
Amazing. I loved all the examples. And Bala, this has been an incredible conversation, and it's time for us to add some more spice and some more excitement to the episode. And I'm going to kick off the second rapid fire round wherein you can answer crisply to the set of intriguing questions. If you're ready, let's get started.
Sure.
Okay, here comes the first question, first bullet out of the second rapid fire round. If you could have one gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, what would it say?
How big is it? Okay, so assuming it's really big, I would still say, I would still make it say, yes, you can.
Wow, just 3 words, but so powerful. Good. And what is the most memorable place you have ever traveled to, and what made it special?
I would say Alaska. This was like a few years ago. It was a life-altering experience. One is definitely nature, but what I observed there was silence. I do not know if it is right to say sound of silence, but the silence there, because it's fully nature and there is nothing, it was so quiet. It was really a meditating experience for me. I would highly recommend go to any place, nature, mainly mountains, where it is quiet and experience. Especially in these modern days, we live in a buzzing world. You're right from yourself to everything is always buzzing. So going to a place somewhere that is quiet with nature was eye-opening for me.
Even I heard a lot of good things about Alaska. I think it is a must. Seems to be a must-visit place. So Bala,
yes,
can you describe? Yeah. So can you describe yourself in just one word?
One word: student.
Oh, that's so humble of you.
If you're learning, so a student.
Next is like, if you could have a conversation with any historical figure, who would it be and what would you ask them?
I would say, I've been thinking about this always in my thing. Like, who is the one person I really want to meet? I'm also happy, probably I'm also old enough to be alive in the times where this person was living. Is Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. I have been impressed by his work, not in the space and space research, but also in terms of education and what he wanted to bring to the community. Yeah. The question I would ask is, like, how did he manage to convince everyone in India at that point to invest in the space program? Because India was going through poverty. There were a lot of struggles growing into a nation. And how did he manage to do something which is so into education and space program, which has paved way for us to today, like Chandrayaan, Mangalyaan, like so many things. How did he manage to make everyone believe? Because as leaders, making people believe is the first key. Like, I would ask him, how did he do that?
Agreed, and it's an intriguing question. And let's move forward to the next one. If you could choose any fictional world to live in, which one would it be? Which one would it be, and why?
Fictional world. Okay. I don't think there is a world that exists like this, but I would say I want to be in a fictional world where time travel is possible, but with the condition where you can only go back and you can only watch what's happening and not alter anything. You cannot do anything to it. You can just watch it like in a TV. I'm always curious about what if people had really know the reasons we would not be acting like this. So that's one thing. Like, traveling back in time would be something I'm very curious.
Fascinating. And here comes the last bullet out of rapid fire. What is one electronic gadget or a fantasy gadget that you'd like to see or invent yourself?
A gadget, I would say something that can articulate my thoughts. Like today, we have a hard time with that, and then it creates a lot of conflict. So something that can articulate your thoughts instead of writing or speaking, that would be great. I think we are not far. There are research happening in the form of neural links and stuff. So hopefully in our lifetimes, we could see that.
Good one. And let's flip back to the mainstream. So as we conclude our conversation, what is one actionable step or piece of advice you would like to leave our audience with, encouraging them to take part in promoting shared humanity, equity in STEM, and uplifting their communities?
Yeah. Um, I think I'm going to be a little bit greedy here and tell two things. The first one that you can do right after watching this video or podcast is open your networking platform, LinkedIn or whatever you are, reach out to a person in your network, right?
Mm-hmm.
Try to find an opportunity to collaborate. Just say hi, someone who you work with, not your friends, but a network that you can collaborate with. You never know the value of network and the power it brings, and you can create a lot of impact. Like 1+1 is greater than 2. I strongly believe in that. So that is the networking. In the greedy aspect, I would say go visit a public school near you. Like it could be anything, big school, small school, middle school, high school. Just go to a public school, not a private one. Go to a public school. See it firsthand. It will be a life-changing experience.
Super, so powerful. And I loved every bit of our conversation. And how is your experience being hosted on The Guiding Voice?
I would say, like I said initially, I was not even thinking that this is going to be possible, right? And then coming to the fact that, oh, if you can, and it is possible now. Guiding Voice podcast has been, I would say, my go-to when I drive, because like you dial in and then you listen to it on all whatever platforms you go to. And the conversations are very wide, like it is very thought-provoking. The recent one with random facts or random events, those are like really, you hear the podcast. It is not that what you guys are covering, but then it leaves you with so many questions in your mind and you create new ideas about it. So I feel the guiding voice, the name is really true. It is really a guiding voice. It is making you think and it is making you create things. It is a good guiding factor, and I'm very, very happy to be part of this. And this is a great value resource that I would recommend everybody to dial in.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much for being part of our journey and also all the kind words. And I'm glad that you have tuned into it and looking forward to engaging in many more conversations in future. So Bala, thank you once again for spending time with me and my audience today, and looking forward to many more, and wish you all the very best on all your future endeavors.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Naveen. Really appreciate you. Thank you for having me. It's a great platform and wish you the best.
Thank you. So friends, that was our episode with Bala. And before we jump into the fun trivia section, we have a quick request. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our podcast TGV, The Guiding Voice, from wherever you have tuned in, because subscribing keeps you updated on new episodes. And also, if you have enjoyed the conversation and found it useful, please share with at least 3 of your friends or colleagues who would also like The Guiding Voice. So spread the knowledge and help others grow just like you. Now let's cruise into the trivia segment. So today we had amazing conversation with Bala on organizational leadership, technical leadership, and also a few aspects of STEM. Right? So I thought I would present you a few origins or less known facts related to STEM. Here are the 3 key points about the origins of STEM. First one is historical roots. STEM fields have ancient and deep historical roots, with science, mathematics, engineering, and technology being studied and practiced for centuries and even millennia. Second is about influence of Sputnik. The focus on STEM education, particularly in the United States, was significantly influenced by the launch of the Soviet satellite Sputnik in 1957. And this led to the perceived need for improved science and technology education. And third is about some early STEM initiatives. The term STEM was not commonly used in the early days of STEM education. Instead, the emphasis was on enhancing science, mathematics, and engineering education. And in the 1960s, the National Science Foundation, which is NSF, in the United States, has started several programs aimed at improving science and mathematics education. So this is all I wanted to share regarding STEM. And in case if you have come across any less known or interesting facts related to STEM, or any initiatives which are promoting this STEM initiative, do share them with me. If you are watching this video, You can comment on YouTube, or if you have found this episode on some social media platforms, you can comment there as well. I'm definitely gonna review your comments. And that's it for today's episode. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in and also for being part of our awesome TGV community. We would love to hear from you, so do not hesitate to share your ideas, feedback, guest speaker suggestions, and the topic recommendations either through our social media channels, or you can also email us at theguidingvoiceforyou@gmail.com, and let's create content that resonates with you. I'm your host Naveen Samala, a lifelong learner, and my goal is to have impactful conversations that improve not only your life but also your career. Until next time, take care, stay inspired, and remember, the future holds great things because the best is yet to come. Goodbye for now. See you all in the next episode with another amazing guest.